Welcome to this explainer. Let's be totally honest with ourselves for a second. Taking a generative AI model from, a fun experimental prototype on your laptop to a trusted, highly secure powerhouse operating at enterprise scale, well, it's incredibly difficult. It is literally the gap between a neat party trick and a mission-critical system. But today, we're bridging that gap. Based on the insights from chapters 10 through 12 of our source material, we're going to look at the exact frameworks, security measures, and operational strategies required to actually control generative AI in a corporate environment.
Because right now, a lot of enterprise IT leaders are literally losing sleep. They see the immense potential of large language models, LLMs, but they also see the chaotic risks. Deploying wild, ungoverned LLMs means exposing your organization to data leaks, unpredictable AI hallucinations, and some pretty severe compliance violations. So if you're struggling to figure out how to safely scale these models without breaking your security posture or, frankly, your budget, you are definitely not alone. That struggle is exactly why the industry is rapidly shifting its approach.
Okay, let's dive into the agenda. We'll be covering 1. The generative AI boom. 2. Meet Amazon Bedrock. 3. The evolution to GenAI ops. 4. Security and privacy first. 5. Guardrails and responsible AI. And finally, 6. The multimodal future.
Section 1. The generative AI boom. Let's start with where we're at right now. We are living through an unprecedented explosion of digital information, and it's acting as a rocket fuel for a totally new class of deep learning models. By definition, generative AI relies on massive, diverse datasets to learn patterns and generate entirely new content. And hey, we aren't just talking about simple chatbots anymore. These are highly flexible, incredibly powerful models that can create stunningly realistic text, translate images, write code, and even act as autonomous solutions. The sheer flexibility here is exactly why industries from media to life sciences are racing to adopt it. But this immense power is also exactly what creates the bottleneck for enterprises. Because as they say, with great power comes great friction. When you actually try to plug these models into a corporate environment, you hit some very real roadblocks. You've got data privacy concerns, like what if a model leaks a trade secret? You have hallucinations. What if the AI gives your customer completely fabricated financial advice? Add in the sheer complexity of deploying these massive models, the operational bottlenecks of scaling them, and the very real hazards of algorithmic bias, and suddenly your exciting generative AI project just stalls out. To solve this, we absolutely need structure.
Section 2. Meet Amazon Bedrock.
And this brilliantly illustrates our solution. Amazon Bedrock is a fully managed service designed specifically to tame those wild friction points we just talked about, giving enterprises a secure, structured environment to actually build generative AI applications. Instead of just handing you a raw, chaotic model, Bedrock gives you an entire unified stack. Look at how it brings everything together here. You get model choice from leading AI startups and Amazon itself, you get customization and knowledge bases to securely plug in your own proprietary data, and you get agents, model evaluation, and guardrails all in one place. It basically takes a fragmented landscape of tools and consolidates the whole shebang into a single, manageable space.
But the real business value here, it isn't just the tools, it's the delivery. Amazon Bedrock is entirely serverless. You access these massive foundation models via a simple API. You don't have to provision GPUs, you don't have to manage complex underlying infrastructure, and you can seamlessly integrate your proprietary data using techniques like Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG. This accelerates application development dramatically, simply because your engineering teams can finally focus on building the product, not managing the plumbing.
Section 3. The evolution to GenAI ops. Now, deploying an AI application is really only half the battle, right? How do you maintain it? How do you operate it at scale? Well, this requires a massive shift in how we think about machine learning operations. The old way of doing things, MLOps, was built for standard predictive models. It focused heavily on training models from scratch, validating them, and deploying them. But that old way completely breaks down with massive foundation models. Enter GenAI. GenAI shifts the focus. You aren't usually training from scratch anymore. Instead, you're focusing on prompt engineering, implementing RAG architectures, fine-tuning pre-existing foundation models, and managing those strict context window limitations. It completely changes the game. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the nesting happening here. GenAI Ops isn't replacing MLOps, it's an extension of it. Inside it, you have FMOps, Foundation Model Operations, which handles massive multimodal models that process text, images, and code. And nested right inside that is LLMOps, dialing in specifically on the unique challenges of large language models like prompt optimization and token limits. So it's a highly, highly specialized operational framework. To make this a bit more concrete, let's walk through the generative AI project lifecycle under this new framework. It always starts with defining clear business use cases. Then you build a robust data strategy, because let's face it, your AI is only as good as your data. Next, you select the right foundation models based on your specific needs. You deploy the applications. But notice step 5 here, continuous monitoring. Deployment is definitely not the finish line. You have to constantly monitor for data drift, performance degradation, and accuracy. And to execute that lifecycle, you need the perfect balance of 3 elements. Bedrock provides the technology, GenAI provides the process, but you absolutely cannot forget the people. The success of enterprise AI completely hinges on skilled domain experts, data scientists, and crucial human-in-the-loop processes. You literally need human oversight to validate model outputs and ensure alignment. If you ignore the people or the process, even the absolute best technology will fail.
Section 4, Security and Privacy First. Which brings us to the most critical layer of all, security and privacy. Because if you can't keep your proprietary enterprise data safe, none of the innovation even matters. Let's talk about the specific threats that keep security teams up at night. You've probably heard of prompt engineering, but what about prompt injection? Prompt injection is a severe vulnerability. It happens when a malicious user crafts an input specifically designed to trick the AI into ignoring its safety instructions. They might try to manipulate the model's behavior, trigger a data poisoning event, or execute a model inversion attack to extract sensitive, proprietary enterprise data that the model has access to. It's not science fiction. It is a very real, very dangerous threat. So the crucial point here is how Amazon Bedrock fundamentally neutralizes these broad architectural risks. First, Bedrock has a strict zero data retention policy for model training, meaning your proprietary data and prompts are never used to train the base models, ever. Second, it uses granular AWS identity and access management controls to restrict access. Third, it supports virtual private cloud and private link, meaning your data never even traverses the public internet. And finally, it operates on zero trust principles, continuously verifying every single request. Section 5, Guardrails and Responsible AI. Okay, so network security keeps the bad actors out, but we also need content-level safety to ensure the AI behaves properly, even with our authorized users. This is where responsible AI and guardrails come in. And let's be clear, responsible AI isn't just corporate jargon. It's a structural requirement to avoid PR disasters and heavy regulatory fines. We have to design for fairness to eliminate bias. We need interpretability so we know exactly why an AI made a decision. We must have manageability, meaning humans can actually manually override the system. And above all, we need veracity, guaranteeing that outputs are truthful, robust, and free from those infamous hallucinations. To enforce these pillars, Amazon Bedrock provides built-in guardrails. You can implement adjustable content filters to block harmful language. You can set denied topics, for example, preventing a banking chatbot from accidentally giving investment advice. You can apply sensitive information filters that automatically redact personally identifiable information, or PII, and it runs contextual grounding checks to ensure the model's answers are actually based on your enterprise data, stopping hallucinations in their tracks before the user ever sees them.
Section 6, the multimodal feature. Let's move to our final section and see how all this builds into the future. With robust operations, ironclad security, and responsible guardrails in place, an enterprise is finally ready to look ahead. We are moving rapidly beyond simple text generation into the next major frontier, Amazon Bedrock agents. Agents take generative AI from being a passive conversational tool to an active autonomous participant in your business. These are systems that understand a goal, break it down into complex workflows, call your internal APIs, and execute multi-step tasks across your enterprise systems, all without human handholding. They represent a massive leap in operational efficiency.
We are stepping into a future of multimodal generative AI, a future where an AI agent doesn't just read text, it analyzes complex images, interprets vast datasets, writes the necessary code, and dynamically optimizes your enterprise environment, all securely and all governed by the strict GenAI frameworks we've discussed today. The architecture is no longer the bottleneck. The tools to bring generative AI out of the prototype phase and into a secure, governed enterprise-scale reality are right here, right now. The foundation is laid, the guardrails are up. So the only question left for your organization is this. When your AI can see, read, and autonomously act securely at scale, what will you build next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.